Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, the video companion for astrochiron.com. Or maybe it's welcome back if you watched the first video. This is the second video in my Ascendant series, a series of videos aiming to teach you how to spot traits that can point you to someone's rising sign. This video is centered on the second sign of the zodiacal wheel, Taurus. Being represented by the bull, Taurus is also an earth sign as well as a fixed sign. So you can imagine where all of the stubborn stereotypes come from. First and foremost, we'll start with Taurus's expression through feminine features. They have larger faces with wider foreheads, and their cheeks aren't especially prominent, though their jawline is noticeably square. You can notice that especially with both Megan and Mariah in these pictures. They have opaque doe-like eyes, as in the shape of their eyes is like that of a female deer, which now has the Sound of Music stuck in my head, of course. Anyway, no matter what their eye color is, you can't see through them. For example, some people with blue eyes or even brown and green eyes, you can kind of see through them, their flecks and swirls of colors. With Taurus risings, you can't see these features at all. This ascendant sign is known for being conventionally attractive. Taurus is one of the signs ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty, so they are notably beautiful in body or in the way their face is structured. This is juxtaposed to other Venusian signs like Libra, who exudes beauty in the way that they are and how they behave and adorn themselves. Like I said, this Taurian beauty is especially notable with their physiques. Megan's rap name is The Stallion, which is an allusion to her tall frame and her large physical assets. And Mariah is known for her figure, first with her little black dress in the 90s to the present day where she can be recognized just by her silhouette. Lastly, the cartilage of their nose flares out from their nose bridges prominently. Their bridges are way skinnier than the actual nose is toward the bottom, basically. Next, we'll see how these features express themselves more masculinely. Like the women, the men have an angular jawline with a square chin, which is very, very noticeable on honestly all the men here. Young Thug has a rounder face though, especially in his jaw, but you can certainly tell it on the Twilight Boys and Austin Butler. They have very low eyebrows that sit just above their eyes. They don't hug them like with Aries Ascendant's faces, but they create something like a shelf over the eyebrow. This can be compared to a Capricorn rising's brow, as they are earth sign sisters, so they share the brooding brow. Speaking of brooding brows, they have broad rectangular foreheads. Their foreheads look like billboards basically. They're not necessarily big relatively because their faces are also kind of big, so it doesn't look too off-kilter. They also tend to have a rather flat face with high cheekbones that don't protrude very much. You can see it from Taylor's profile here especially. This video is brought to you by me. I am the astrologer behind astrochiron.com, the one-stop shop for all astrological readings, articles, horoscopes, and art. I have a free ask feature that you can use for quick questions that I will respond to via blog post. Readings range from $25 to $200, whether you want 3 questions answered in detail, all the way to a thorough hour-long or more reading for me personally via phone or video chat, discussing your entire natal chart, the aspects within it, and each planet's placement. The first 20 subscribers to this channel will gain access to all 20+ written and live readings at a 40% off discount. Again, that's astrochiron.com, ASTRO-CHIRON.com. Don't forget the hyphen, and join our community today. As for their lives, Taurus Ascendants tend to come from families who make their money in the same line as them. So simply put, they tend to be raised in the family business. So for example, Mariah's mom was an opera singer and Megan's mother was a rapper. Sweetie has the most connections. She's pretty extreme here. She has MC Hammer as her uncle, her mother was a video vixen, and her cousin is the producer Zaytoven, who has produced hits from 2005's Icy by Gucci Mane to working on a couple of Future's most recent albums. So he has a very long career. I think Sweetie may also be cousins with Gabrielle Union, or perhaps she's Sweetie's aunt, I'm not sure. Issa, as far as I know, doesn't have any family in the business. She does, however, come from a background that is conducive to supporting an artist because her dad was, I believe, a doctor and her mother a teacher. So Robert Pattinson also comes from a more affluent life, and his mother was a model, luckily giving him a big of a leg up there when it comes to agents and just working his way around the industry. Examples aside, most of these rising sign natives come from wealth, or at least being well off enough to be able to pursue their own career paths. Their talents are closely entwined with their business acumen, This is especially notable for these natives as Taurus is associated with money, so they make lots of money in whatever it is they do. For example, Issa's talents for comedic acting has turned into a production company. I mean, she started on YouTube. Megan is independent and worked out a distribution deal with Roc Nation, and she owns her own masters. Similarly, Mariah also writes most, if not all, of her music. In fact, that's how she gets a lot of her money, in publishing from the music she releases and performs. So she doesn't just sing them and perform them, she also gets money every time her music is sampled or every time it's performed by someone else. Taurus risings are known to be politely blunt. For example, Issa's "I'm Rooting for Everybody Black," which was A, very funny, and B, something that I know other black people probably wouldn't have said while on a red carpet, if only not to rock the boat. Robert Pattinson is also known for being quite blunt in his interviews, even about the very movie he's on the press tour for. There's also the line so famous that it has its own Wikipedia article, the "I don't know her" meme, started by Mariah Carey in reference to J-Lo. And of course, we have all of Megan's mini live streams. Taurus risings are known for taking long breaks between projects. So lots of people talk about Taurians being lazy or slow in action, but really they're just methodical. Mariah basically stays in the freezer more or less until October, when she thaws out just in time to talk about her evergreen single "All I Want for Christmas Is You," so it can top the charts again. Then there's Saweetie, who has said that she has to take a break from recording and performing so that she can undergo a performance training program a couple years ago. Megan is noted to take many mental health breaks and even has her own eras, like the Hot Girl era, her Tina Snow era, and then there's her current era, which is very focused on her mental health and showing us who she really is behind all of her personas. Each of these eras has a pretty long break in between them, especially considering how the pop girls were released in the 2000s and the early 2010s. I think Taurus risings are usually found attractive at a young age, especially the men with this ascendant, which is definitively gross no matter how you think about it. You can especially see it with the Twilight fandom and how both Robert Pattinson, who I believe was at least 18 when he played Edward, but then Taylor, who certainly was not that age when he played Jacob. Both of these men were lusted after by like 30 to 40-year-old women while in these roles. Mariah had a similar story from her own biography, which is quite harrowing, and I won't go into too much detail about it here. Austin's work on Nick and Disney brought him teenage stardom, and then he played Elvis, who also was the original teenage star, so it kind of works out in an interesting way there. Like their tendency to do things at a slower pace, these folks tend to get stuck for better or for worse. This is a definite Taurus sun tendency, but it can happen in the lives of Taurus risings as well, despite their sun sign. Their lives may tend to stagnate, or perhaps they'll get stuck in a role in life that they don't necessarily want to get stuck in. So this is more of a funny example, but Austin's accent refused to leave him when he filmed the Elvis biopic, or biopic if you pronounce it that way. I say biopic because that's how the word looks, but I digress. He keeps the accent for a while, and I think he had to get a dialect coach to break back into his old accent. Listen, I'm not here to report, I'm just here to talk about astrology. I could be wrong. It took a while for both Taylor and Robert both to shake their characters from Twilight, and one obviously had a great deal more success in that venture than the other. And finally, these natives tend to be naturally musical. Even Issa, the only non-musician on this list here, has a lot of musical elements in her shows. Robert himself is a prolific musician. Let Me Sign changed my life when I was like 13 or 14. It was a beautiful song, even if it was hard to understand him, but it had great notes. Austin plays piano, guitar, and has a nice singing voice as well. Wait, was Austin on Glee? Or was that Chord Overstreet? Anyway, like I said, I'm not here to report. Taurus is related to music, especially singing, because Taurus is connected to the throat. Being connected to Venus, who is an admirer of music, this gives people of this rising sign a special appreciation for the craft. That is how you can spot every Taurus ascendant in your life, especially if they really look like any of these celebrities. I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. Whether you're new here, you've been following me for a while on various social media, or you come directly from TikTok. Either way, thank you. You should stay tuned for a Gemini Ascendant, which is coming up next, and in the meantime, visit astrochiron.com for frequent updates. Again, that's astro-chiron.com. Subscribe and follow for more astrology-based lessons, horoscopes, and news, as well as astrological pop culture analysis.